guys, welcome back to Dimitra's Dishes. So fall is officially here and pumpkin season is also here, and that is my favorite. This is just my favorite time of the year. I love pumpkin spice everything. So today I'm going to bring to you a pumpkin roulade, also known as a pumpkin roll. Basically it's like a pumpkin sponge cake that's rolled and filled with some cream cheese icing. It's delicious. It's just everything about this season, and it's perfect if you're going to bring it to a holiday dinner, if you want to surprise your host and offer, maybe bring dessert, or if you want to serve it to some guests with a nice cup of tea. This is definitely the dessert for you guys. So we're going to go over the ingredients and then we're going to get started. Of course, you're going to need some canned pumpkin. Okay, make sure you're using the fresh canned pumpkin with nothing else in it. You don't want pumpkin pie filling. That is not what we're looking for, because we're going to spice it up with our own spices, how we like it. That's my oven. It just preheated. Make sure that your oven is preheated before you're starting this, because everything moves pretty fast. So we're going to need the pumpkin puree. You can make your own if you want, but here in the States you could find it very easily, and it's not easy to make your own pumpkin puree. So if you can get that can, it's really good. So you need some nutmeg, lots of cinnamon, baking powder, flour, a little bit of salt, a little bit of dried ginger. And then we're also going to need some chopped up walnuts. You could also use chopped pecans. That works well too. Some eggs and orange, because we're going to use the zest and the juice. A little bit of sugar, and then the filling, the cream cheese icing, which we're going to go over when we're ready to make it. Now, if you've noticed some black spots in my sugar, that's because I keep vanilla beans in it, and it really flavors it and gives it a nice vanilla essence. Like, it's just really nice. So it's a way to use up the used vanilla beans. Never throw them out. They still have lots of flavor, so keep them in your sugar storage. So now to my stand mixer, I'm going to put my eggs and my sugar, and I'm going to beat them on high speed for about 5 minutes until they're really doubled in volume and they're nice and light and pale in color, and I'll show you what it looks like when they're ready. You want to make sure that your eggs are at room temperature always. So once it's done beating for 5 minutes, then it's going to be nice and fluffy, just the way it looks like that, and pale and white. You want to sift your dry ingredients. I can smell the cinnamon, and there's nothing better than cinnamon. Okay, and to my flour, I think I'll zest my orange. You're going to need about half the zest of this orange. Orange and pumpkin go so well together. I feel like orange, pumpkin, apple, pear, this time of year, you can't just go wrong with those flavors in anything. Now to my mixer, I'm going to add my pumpkin puree. And if you've noticed, I've switched to my whisk attachment. Start off with your whisk attachment. It's better. It incorporates much more air than, say, the paddle attachment does. And I should have done that in the beginning, but I overlooked it. So I just switched to it, and then I just continue to beat it. Here we go. And then I'm going to remove everything from here, and I'm going to do the rest by hand. We've added the zest, and now all we need is just about a tablespoon of the orange juice. Just a little bit. Try not to get any seed in there. Like that. Make it nice and fresh. And then a little bit at a time, we're just going to add our flour in here. Don't overbeat it. Just like that, it's nice and incorporated. Now I have a half-sheet pan that I lined with some parchment paper, and all I'm going to do is spread all this batter onto this pan evenly. It's already smelling just like fall, like Thanksgiving. Just going to spread it out carefully. And don't worry if it looks like it's not that much batter. This is going to rise once it bakes, and it's going to be the perfect amount. And then to this, we're just going to sprinkle our chopped walnuts just on top like that. Perfect. I have my oven preheated to 375 degrees, and this is going to go in there for exactly 12 minutes, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's ready. Okay, so while the cake part of the pumpkin roll is cooking in the oven, we're going to go ahead and make our icing, and it's a cream cheese icing that we're making. And there's just a few ingredients. Let me get my vanilla. We have vanilla extract, some orange zest, cream cheese, unsalted butter, and some confectioner's sugar. Now you want to make sure that the butter and the cream cheese are completely soft and at room temperature, so everything is nice and smooth. And now I'm just going to add my butter and my cream cheese to my mixer, and I have the paddle attachment this time on there. And I'll add a little bit of vanilla to that. And once that's combined, we're just going to add our powdered sugar and make sure you start it on a low speed so you don't end up wearing it. And I know that from experience, trust me. So you just want to make sure once the sugar is in and it's incorporated on a low speed, beat it on a very high speed so that way it becomes nice and fluffy. And just like that, it's ready. The only other embellishment that we're going to add to this is some orange zest. There's orange in the cake part, there's going to be orange in the icing, and it's going to bring it all together. Just a little bit of zest in it. Like that, mix it all up, and that's all. This icing is ready to go, and our cake I think has about another minute. Just like that, quick and simple and easy. It smells like Thanksgiving in here. It smells delicious. Let's set that aside. So it just came out of the oven, and I'm telling you, this smell right here is what you want your house to smell like. It smells, you can smell the cinnamon, everything. It just smells lovely, delicious. It makes you hungry. All I need is a cup of tea for this. So what I'm doing is I'm just loosening all the edges so that way this comes out easily. And you want to make sure you have a big clean kitchen towel ready because we're going to roll this onto the towel. We're going to pop it up carefully. It's okay. I'm going to flip it over. So it's good to have parchment paper on here. Just like that. I'm going to carefully peel the parchment paper off. And if it begins to tear a little bit, don't panic. It happens. That's what the icing is going to be like glue in this, so it's going to be perfectly fine. Now you have two options when it comes to rolling. You could roll it the long way, which is this way, or you could roll it the short way up. If you roll it the long way up, you're going to have more narrow slices, and I guess you can get more out of this. If you want to have bigger slices, more like generous servings, roll it the short way. I'm going to roll it the long way, just like this. And you want to do this while it's nice and hot. The reason is that once it's nice and hot, it'll hold its shape like this, and you'll have less of a tendency of it cracking. You're going to leave it aside for about 5-6 minutes until it cools a little bit, so then we can pour the icing in it and spread it, and it's going to be beautiful, delicious. All right, so it's cooled for about 10 minutes. Now we're going to unroll it again. And now what we're going to do is we're going to just pour this icing right onto it, and we're going to spread it. Focus more towards the center so it doesn't squish out of the ends. And now we're going to roll it just the same way we did before. Only this time we're going to keep the towel out of it. We're just going to use it to help us. Get a nice dish to put it in. And then try to keep the seam down. The only thing it needs is just a touch of powdered sugar on top. If you wanted to, you could definitely make a little bit extra of this icing and maybe pipe some rosettes on top. I just like it just the way it is. Simple yet beautiful, just like this. All the flavors of Thanksgiving, the pumpkin spice flavors are in this, so definitely get the recipe. All the exact measurements are on my website, www.dimitrasdishes.com. Please make it. It's so simple. You're going to wow everybody, especially if you want to make this on Thanksgiving. If you don't want to do a pie or anything like that, you can make this the day before. But honestly, I highly recommend you make it the day of, because the way your house is going to smell is just going to make everybody want to eat this that much faster. Let me know what you want to learn how to make next in the comments down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.